Hey, what's up, Crypto Army? I'm Travis, your crypto newbie, bringing you my experiences so you don't have to learn things the hard way. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, and none of my content should be used as financial advice. If you like what my content offers, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and don't forget to turn on notifications. It might help you keep track of my content when it gets released, because you'll get notifications whenever I post new content out there. All of this helps my channel grow and helps the information get to other people that might find it helpful. So what are we going to talk about today? Today I thought we'd talk about Safemoon. I've been alluding to this video the last couple days, and I did cover certain aspects of the Safemoon ecosystem in my previous video. I launched it last night, I believe, covering some of the cryptonomics, how rewards or reflections, as Safemoon would call them, work. That video is out there. I'll briefly show you that product that I discussed yesterday, but look at that video for a more detailed review of the content. And I'll put a link at the end of this as well. Quick intro on Safemoon. And I'm going to put the website up so that you can look at the website and see some information that's on there as I'm speaking here. Safemoon launched around 7 months ago, back in March of 2021. It was a fair launch. If you don't know what a fair launch is, it's basically it's a cryptocurrency that isn't mined, earned, owned, and it's governed by the entire community. There's no early access and there's no token or private allocations made for the public. The term they coined and have been using ever since their launch is "to the moon." So you're going to hear that a lot in this particular community, or "safely to the moon." That's the other way they say it as well. And you can see in the graphics on the website, they're going to the moon with their rocket ship, and it's in the logo. If you look real closely here, the logo's got a rocket ship in there, and I actually like this is their new website. I really like the new graphics they've added to this as well. By June, they had over 2.5 million followers, which is phenomenal. It's unheard of for a cryptocurrency to get that many holders in such a short period of time. 2.5 million is a ridiculous number of people that were buying Safemoon. And I'll show you some of the charts here in a little while, and you can kind of see it really did take off like a rocket ship. So it was fitting that that was the image that they adopted. And I would have preferred Elon Musk to pick Safemoon over Dogecoin because I think it's got a lot more utility, and it seems to work well with SpaceX. I'm just saying, it seems like it's the right token to pair with Elon Musk. And if Elon Musk ever watches one of my videos, pair with Safemoon. It just makes sense, and if you look at the underlying fundamentals for the token, I think you'd agree it's going to be a big success. Safemoon is one of the more transparent cryptocurrencies out there. Almost every other weekish time, sometimes it'll go a little bit longer, but generally every 2 weeks they do an AMA, and it's always on a Sunday. It's usually around 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. They posted, I think it's a 6 BST, but it does vary a little bit. You have to check their Twitter space to identify when their AMAs are. And they've been bouncing around between doing them in Discord and being on the Twitter space. More recently, they've been primarily on Twitter. And you can pretty much always find them live streaming on Sunday when they are available. And I'm going to try to do the same thing, so I will try to do a live stream for Safemoon AMAs. I don't know if I'll have it ready for this Sunday, but that is one of my goals moving forward, is to do those as well, so that you can come to this channel and look at it as well. Let's take a look at their website. I think we'll start here, and then I'll add some more information. So just remind everybody, I look at 5 central areas whenever I do an initial video on a token: the use case, the white paper, the roadmap, and the target market, as well as the team. Those are really the 5 things that I focus on when I look at a project for the first time. And just to remind everybody what that looks like, I will bring that up on the screen, and here it is. Here's the breakdown of those 5 categories. Obviously, it's more than 5 boxes that I look at, so these are how I break those things down. And again, I've got a video that explains the usage of this, and I will put a link to that in the description as well. And we'll go back to the website, and here's the website. So let's go through this website a little bit more in depth, and I'll add some more updates on this. To start with, this is their new website, and I would say that it's already outdated. My complaint for most of these tokens, if you've watched any of my videos, is none of the tokens do a good job of maintaining their websites. They don't keep them up to date. They don't keep the roadmap, for example, up to date. They don't update the white papers. They don't update various aspects of the website. So you're going to hear that as I go through this video as well. And this is their new website. It was just launched in the last month. and it's already not up to date. I don't think they're integrating their business practices across the board like I would like them to be doing. And then again, this isn't the first time I've said that, and it won't be the last time I say that. Everybody forgets about the website because they've got everything else they're doing. Between the Discord, the Twitter, the Telegram, and all the other social media that's out there, everybody always forgets about the website. But this is where the people go to find out more information. You have to keep this updated. And that's just my thought process. Maybe I'm too old, but I think that most people go to the website as their first source of information, and then they branch off from there. So the most up-to-date information should always be the website. It should never be outdated. All right, back to the website here. Now you'll see they've got all their data on here, so based off my assessment, that's something I look at, and it is fairly current information. I think their value is actually a little bit lower than this right now. They do have a live chart. It does open up the DEX Guru. I've already checked that. Direct link to their swap. And if you click the buy now, it'll walk you through how to buy. I wonder if the swap works. So the swap does work. I do everything from my actual wallet. I don't do much from the website. Or I use the DApp, which is basically the website as well. All right, so let's go back to the main page. So from here, let's continue down. We'll learn about their process. So they do a 5% reflection that goes back to holders. Now, the thing to be aware of, and I covered this on yesterday's video as well when I talked about reflections and their consolidation, 5% goes back to holders, but the burn wallet has 42% of all the tokens right now, and it gets a cut of that 5%. So right now the burn wallet gets the largest percentage. That really doesn't matter, but as soon as they turn off the burn, it will matter because you're going to see a huge increase in the number of reflections you're getting. Because right now, and continuing until they turn it off, the burn wallet's getting bigger faster than all of our wallets because of the burn, unless we're buying. But it's going to be growing, and you have to buy a lot of tokens to match what it's getting in reflections. And then 5% goes back to the liquidity pool, and that's pretty much how their tokenomics work. And again, I did a really good recap of the tokenomics yesterday's video, and it's about 30 minutes. It's a quick watch. And I also cover the potential for a token consolidation in there. I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end, but I in-depth went through that in that particular video. They are community focused. If you ever jump on Twitter, you ever jump on their Discord, you will see the CEO on there all the time answering questions along with the rest of the team. So they are very focused on the community. The liquidity pool is always a concern with tokens. A lot of times your rug pools will be around the liquidity pools, or everybody will mass sell off and the liquidity pool will drain out and the token will flatline. There won't be any money for anything at that point. So a lot of the supposed rug pulls have that particular issue. And moving on, they have an exchange planned. Now you'll notice we're not down there, but we're never going to see it because it's not there. There is no roadmap on Safemoon's website right now. When they first launched, they had a roadmap. When they came out with this version of the website, they took the roadmap down to update it. Supposedly, we're going to get an update on the roadmap on this weekend's AMA. I would still like them to put it on the website because people aren't going to know to go to Twitter to watch the AMA to find the roadmap. And you can see pieces of the roadmap in different posts, but that's not, again, everybody goes to the website. So if you want to grow holders, you have to keep your website updated. Now you can also click on all of these links here. For when it comes to Safemoon, Nomics is a pretty good website to go on. It's actually a little bit better than CoinMarketCap, and I'm going to show you the issues with CoinMarketCap here in a few minutes. And then we're at the bottom, and we've got a lot of the same links. So you can see they've got Twitch, their LinkedIn, their Instagram, their Twitter, Facebook. I would recommend you get Discord. They've got a ton of information in Discord. Great resource to go to. A lot of good information. And then the white paper as well. Normally I like to take a look at the team, so let's go take a look at the team. So here's their team, and they're building. Now, if you've been watching Safemoon and following them, there's always a ton of information about Safemoon in the news. There's always something going on, some sort of a big issue that's contributing to FUD about the projects. So there was almost a completely different team, at least part of the team. Some of these folks we're going to be starting to see some new ones here, but John Crony is the constant, as is Papa. That's what they call Thomas Smith is Papa, as well as Charles Crony. So they've been kind of the three people that are constantly moving through this or constantly here. And same thing with Ryan. He's part of the core team as well. But they are hiring a lot of new folks for. They just had a turnover of individuals that caused a lot of drama in the community, recorded phone calls or chats, and it was just a mess. But none of that takes away from the core project. And I think that's where the Safemoon community is interesting, whether it's just because of the sheer number of holders or I'm not 100% sure what causes it, but there's a lot of fun in this community. And most of it doesn't matter. You know, if somebody leaves a company, I don't really care. If John Cronin leaves the company, I might care. He's the CEO. He's the brainchild of this particular project. He's kind of a central person. But even then, Apple CEO leaves. Amazon CEO leaves. These CEOs eventually leave, and the company doesn't fall into chaos. Usually. It's not necessarily a big deal, and the community makes it into a huge deal every time they have these weird shakeups pop up. For the Safemoon community, sometimes it's better to get less information. You know, try to get your information from outside of the social media realms. And a good way to look at it is if it's bad information, even some of the really good information, if this individual here did not say it, or one of the core members of the team did not say it, it's probably not accurate. So wait for John to say it. If he says it, then you know it's true. He's the CEO. You know, there's a joke in the military. You know, the CEO, hey, I started a rumor, and the guy looks at the CEO and he says, well, sir, if it's coming from you, it's not a rumor. There's some truth to that. If the CEO can't start rumors, unless there's some truth behind it. That's the best way to look at this particular community, because there's so much information out there. Most of it's bad information, or it's being blown out of proportion. What you have to remember with this community is evaluate, does this matter for the project long term? I can tell you that this stuff always impacts the price. The price is always getting impacted by this stuff. Most of it doesn't matter. If they miss a deadline, that should not drop the price as much as it does. So there's a lot of really weird things that happen in this community, but it's a great crypto. So anyway, they have a core team. They're doxed. That's one way to say that you can see them. You know who they are. You've got names and pictures associated with it. We know who this core team is. For me, that's a huge selling point for Safemoon. Even better, they've actually got a business stood up. So they've got essentially 3 headquarters that they're setting up. One of them's in Utah, one of them's in London, which is where John Crony and his brother are from. I think they're actually out in London right now. And then they're also looking at an office in Africa, excuse me, in Africa as well. So that's the core team. Now that we've taken a look at the core team, let's go back to the home and we'll take a look at the white paper. So for the white paper, I put it up there. Really, the most important part is the abstract. I love it when white papers put an abstract on there, because it really is supposed to, the purpose of an abstract is to tell you what's important from everything that follows. Now, this isn't necessarily a long white paper. It's only 3 pages long, but it really does a good job of condensing the 3 pages into down into exactly what you need. So Safemoon protocol aims to solve the problems of our prior cryptocurrencies, including mining rewards, farming rewards, and liquidity provisioning. Mining equipment can be both costly and harmful to the environment, but mining remains of interest due to the opportunities afforded to it or by it. As an easy alternative to mining rewards, we propose allowing users to participate in smart contract token reflection to produce tokens inside their wallet. So that's the reflection mechanism, their 5% redistribution. Another challenge remains to facilitate and maintain liquidity on decentralized exchanges. So that's why out of the 10% buy and sell fee that you're going to get, 5% goes back to liquidity. So the liquidity is constantly being built up. And then there are some manual liquidity actions that they do, but it's built on 500 billion tokens. So if it hits 500 billion, the swap and liquefy is supposed to trigger automatically. But they have the ability to do that as well as the dev team. By nature, decentralized exchanges require liquidity by user participation. Thus, the responsibility is on the developers to provide it. Historically, developers created incentives aimed at users to provide liquidity, which can be outweighed by risk due to the subjectivity of impermanent loss. Now, if you're not familiar with impermanent loss, it's something to definitely be aware of if you're going to participate in liquidity pools. Essentially what it is if you put some, whatever your pairs are, whether it's Safemoon and BSC, if you put that as a liquidity pool, if the BSC increases in price and the Safemoon drops in price, potentially you're going to have impermanent loss because you'll never get more back at the end. So if you put in $1,000 in BSC and all of a sudden it's 2,000, all you're going to get is $1,000 back. You're not going to get the difference. So that's a risk of doing liquidity pool, and that's a big risk. And you don't have to do that with a Safemoon token. Now I think that there's a project that allows you to do it if you really want to, but you can end up losing a lot, especially if Safemoon doesn't increase in price. I did a liquidity pool where one of the tokens was, I think it was 75 cents when I started, and then it dropped down to 8 cents. Well, at the same time, Ethereum went up by hundreds of dollars. So I have a lot of impermanent loss in that particular liquidity pool, unfortunately. But Ethereum is ridiculously high, so I'm leaving it in there, and we'll see what happens. I'll let it ride, and hopefully, right now the market's down, so maybe Ethereum will get back to where it was, and I'll pull it out, and I'll get everything back. But Ethereum was quite a bit lower at the time. As a solution, we propose utilizing a smart contract function to automatically capture liquidity to be used in decentralized exchange and held in custody independent from user possession. And I'm going to let you all read the rest of it on your own time. Really, this abstract summarizes everything. So everything that they did, they're one of the first ones to really kind of do this tokenomics the way that they did, especially the swap and liquefy. Now, one of the pieces of what you're going to get a lot of with swap and liquefy specifically is every time that the swap and liquefy is called, when they hit that 500 billion or whatever the number is, whenever they hit that, the price of Safemoon drops. That's one of the negatives with swap and liquefy. Now, there might be a way to fix that in V2 token, or when the new blockchain is released. We'll have to wait and see. But the price doesn't drop that much. And if you go back and look at around April-May timeframe, and we're going to look at the chart here in a little bit, but you can see that the price jumped up significantly, and the liquidity pool was triggered, and the price didn't drop significantly. It's a lot of fear out there about this swap and liquefy, but it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be concerned about. It's not going to doom the project to never getting a higher price. All they need to do is to get the volume up there, and the price will go back up. It's simple math, as I like to say. Now, there isn't a roadmap, as I mentioned, so there's no roadmap to take a look at, but there is a roadmap, and the roadmap is in, if we go up to products, we'll click on products quick, you can kind of see a roadmap here. They've already launched the wallet. It's out for Google. It is not out for App Store. Everybody should know, if you've got an Android phone, you may or may not know, the App Store for Apple is hard to get apps through. It takes a while, and that's the situation they're in. So it's at Apple being reviewed, and as soon as the Apple review is done, it'll probably hit the App Store. Maybe the next week or two is when it's going to post. I had hoped that when I did this video it would already be out there, so I could say both the Android and Apple are now good, and they've got the wallet. But that's not the case. Safemoon V2 was initially scheduled for the end of this month. Because of the wallet delays, it's going to be pushed, and they're going to identify the date, I believe, this Sunday on the AMA. So I may have more information for my weekly update next week on Safemoon V2 release. Hard wallet. I've heard a lot of information about the hard wallet release. It hasn't really been discussed. It wasn't on any of the AMAs for part of their roadmap discussion, but that's in work. And if you go back, and I hate going back to look through Twitter posts and Discord posts, but I want to say they initially thought that the hard wallet would be the end of the summer, and we're nowhere near there. So new company, a little too ambitious on their timelines. Don't always expect that they're going to actually hit the timelines. I think they're going to get better. I think they learned a lot from the wallet process, where I think that this company will get better. Now, keep in mind, it's a company. How many tokens can you say have a company? And it's in the US. So all the US regulations, if you've been following Binance, they're constantly getting regulatory issues across to the globe. Everywhere they go, they're getting kicked out for regulatory issues. They're focused in the US with their Utah office. Now they got a global section over in London, and they're an international section in Africa. But you shouldn't have to worry about the regulation for the US because that's where their headquarters office is going to be, is in the US. And then there's the exchange. I suspect that the exchange will be more of a wallet based on some of the discussions and some of the things that people have been talking about. I think it's going to be run out of their wallet, would be my guess. Maybe there's going to be an integration on their website. I'm not 100% sure. They haven't really released a lot of information about the exchange. So that's kind of what's on their website as far as a roadmap. But what else is there? Because there's more. It's not just these things. It's just not anywhere on their website. So on a previous AMA, they talked about a podcast. The initial timeline for that was going to be in November. The blockchain is supposed to be December. And again, all of these might shift on Sunday. It's definitely possible because the wallet is over a month late for Android. Or I'm sorry, for Apple. So it was a few weeks late for Android, and it's almost a month for Apple at this point. Now they have, and I am going to go take a look at Twitter here. So we'll switch over to Twitter. So in these posts, and you can see all the way back to May, they've been working on something in the Gambia. Now there's not a lot of information out there about what they're trying to do in the Gambia, but they're working with the government in the Gambia to do something. And it's supposed to be released, they call it moments. So each of these big projects, the Gambia, the blockchain, podcasts, the exchange, hard wallets, all of these things are supposed to have their moment. And that's essentially an AMA where they cover the important information for that particular moment. And they haven't had the Gambia one, so there's not a ton of information out there. There are things that, and again, now this is from John Garoni on his Twitter feed. And if you didn't know, this is my Twitter feed as well. I'm not as active on Twitter yet. I'm still playing around with the idea of Twitter, but I do have an active feed in there, and I do post some updates on some projects I'm tracking as well. There's rumors of wind turbines. Exactly what that is going to entail and what the involvement of Safemoon is not entirely clear, but that's the rumor out there. And then we'll pull up Discord, and if you go up here, and I'll highlight it here, Operation Phoenix. Now, Operation Phoenix is kind of an all-encompassing it's really an overlay for a lot of different projects, and you can kind of read this, but Operation Phoenix is well underway from both the logistics and the physical technology side of things. We have two lines of effort, Phoenix Main and Phoenix Moon. Phoenix Main is what you all get to see in regards to our main product line, wallet, blockchain, version 2, etc. Phoenix Moon is, as one would say, our additional use cases utility outside of Phoenix Main that will have a huge positive effect in both the tech space and the world. Both Main and Moon both live symbiotically together. I don't know exactly what all that's going to mean, but essentially two lines of effort. Most of the hardware and the technology side and the integration, I suspect, with Gambia, but then probably branching off from there. One other thing, and we'll go to another Twitter feed here while I talk about this, and this is the turbines that I was just talking about as well. So there's this idea out there that every time the turbine turns, it burns Safemoon. And you can read the post, and what if I told you that the turbines in a way affect volume and will connect to the ecosystem? And that's, again, from the CEO. So one of the things I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning, Safemoon loves to do things via clues. So if you're not a mystery and a clue seeker, sometimes you're going to be aggravated. That's just one of the ways that this team likes to release information. And there's a huge chunk of the community that really likes that because they like to go out and try to solve these mysteries and read every single tweet and try to piece things together on what this stuff means. And then there's the other part of this, of our Safemoon army, as people would call it, that are just not thrilled about the idea of having to go research things. So they would prefer more direct and clear and less of the clues. But there's a larger majority that like the clues. So they continue to do that. If you don't like the mysteries, just stay out of the Twitter feeds, the Discord, and just pay attention to YouTube videos like these to give you your regular updates. I kind of like them, but I'm not going to go search for them. But I think it keeps it kind of like a fun project. It keeps things a little interesting. As long as down the road they eventually clarify what all this stuff meant, because there's so many theories that fly around for these different tweets that they release. And sometimes people get pretty upset. So they'll hide a lot of information inside of a picture, for example. And there's a whole subculture inside the Safemoon RP that just goes to work trying to solve that and comes up with different theories. It's entertaining to watch, but it does annoy some people. So when you go to these AMAs, people are going to say, "Hey, can you just be more direct on your communication and provide clear, less cryptic updates?" They don't have to. It's their company, and there is a good chunk of the community that likes that. I could care less. Yeah. Everything I just said, V2 token, that's kind of a small one as far as an update. A hard wallet, an exchange, a podcast, a blockchain. They've already got the token, a partnership in the Gambia, wind turbines, and trying to understand what Project Phoenix holistically is going to mean. What token that's out there has all that in work? Anybody know? Crickets? I don't know. I've yet to find a token that has that much going. So they've got, as far as their vision for this particular crypto, it's a big vision. They've got a good sized roadmap, even though you necessarily can't see it on their website. But that's impressive. So what is their use case? It's all over the place. Partnership with countries. They're trying to get, the blockchain. It's going to have smart contracts, which means kind of like Ethereum and some of the other ones out there, you can build on it. So you can run programs, you can put software on it, you can put games on it. The possibilities are endless. I don't know how you integrate the blockchain or tokenomics with wind turbines. I'm definitely curious to find out. But this project should be exciting. That is a lot. And I hope that I get to review another project that has that much going on, but I haven't found one. I haven't found a single project that has that much going on. And again, they just launched earlier this year. And they've got that much. You can see the earlier posts were May. That's impressive. Hopefully you're impressed by it as well, because that really is a lot. Now, they have to execute. They have to deliver. And they've already delivered a wallet. Granted, it hasn't gotten to the Apple folks yet. I'm glad I'm an Android user. Safemoon V2 is really just a coding fix. It's designed to fix some of the stuff from their Certic audit. So they do have an audit. If we go back to home, we can actually look at that as well. It was initially an 82. As they fix things, the score does go up. So I think they're an 85 now. So it's gone up a little bit. And I want to say at one point it might have been an 86 or 88. So you can see. That's impressive. And it checks one of our boxes. I looked for the audit. And an 85 is good. And you can kind of go through this. 0 criticals. They did talk about the major. And the major is regarding their liquidity pool and some of their controls that they maintain. There's a difference of opinion for ownership of the contract and how things should be run for contracts. Safemoon retained, as the owners of the contract, a lot of developer rights for maintaining the contract. And it allows them, for example, to trigger that liquidity pool actions, the swap and liquefy. It allows them for wallets that no longer should be getting tokens because they're dead wallets. It allows them to turn tokens off to those wallets, because otherwise it would continue to go endlessly. And those tokens can go back to us as users or holders for it. So they can do those things because they've retained the rights to the contract. Some people believe that you should renounce the contract entirely. Well, if you do that, then you can't do anything to fix it. So you're stuck. So if there's ever any kind of an exploit, they can't fix it. They can't revise it. So we're constantly learning. Hackers are constantly learning and how to steal from these things. So it's better that, in my opinion, they should have it, but it should be under probably a multi-sig approach. So it can't just be one or two people that swap the liquidity, for example. So if you get a couple bad apples and they take all the liquidity out, that will be my concern. But that was it. And then 4 miners. And they've addressed most of these, and most of these are going to try to fix in V2 or when the blockchain comes out. So they do have a plan. None of this stuff is going to result in you losing your tokens. So, and 85 or 88 at one point is a good score. I mean, it's ranked 21. That's not bad. And CertiK is a pretty good audit. It's one of the gold standard audits, if there's such a thing. So that's impressive. So that's pretty much everything from the website. Now there's other stuff. They have a game. You can click on Mooncraft and you can play Mooncraft online. So they've already got a game. They don't have any software. So they also, for click on how to buy, they do walk you through how to buy Safemoon. Now, this is one of my complaints on most tokens. Not everybody understands crypto. I'm the crypto newbie. Not everybody understands crypto. When I first got into crypto, it was even more confusing. Things have gotten better, but it's still painful to buy crypto. So how do you buy? And let's just walk the directions. You download their wallet. That's a great start. They've integrated that aspect of the website. It wasn't always that. But you can't buy BNB yet. And you need BNB or Binance Smart Chain in order to transfer into Safemoon. You can buy Ethereum, and you can buy Safemoon, which is their bridge token. You can buy Safemoon on the Binance network or on the Ethereum network. The Ethereum network version is called Safemoon, but I don't believe it gets tokens, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't have any Safemoon, so I don't want to steer you wrong on that. Or you can buy it on the Binance Smart Chain and BSC, which is essentially it's BNB. It's just exchangeable for different tokens. But it'll walk you through it. Where's the how-to? Where's the video? Make it easier. Where's the pictures? How do we do this? So right now, in order to buy it, the process really, you have to go to Trust Wallet or MetaMask and use Simplex or MoonPay to buy Binance Smart Chain. And then from there, I don't know why you wouldn't just use Trust Wallet, because you've already used Trust Wallet to do everything else. But you can go back to Safemoon because it'll show up at that point, unless you create a wallet from scratch. This is not a user-friendly process yet. We're not there. I'm being honest with you. We are not there. This is not an easy-to-buy token. But you need to provide better instructions to help people understand how to buy it, especially now that we've got a Safemoon wallet out there. So here's my recommendation for how you would buy this, because every time you do a swap on Safemoon Swap, the fees, which they add a 0.25 fee to it for the swap, goes back to the holder. So we want to encourage people to use Safemoon Swap. My recommendation is to check it out, see how much Safemoon you're going to get, and since you've already probably bought Binance Smart Chain with Trust Wallet or MetaMask, go over to that app and see how much you're going to get there as well. So if you can do a side-by-side comparison of, okay, so I've got this much Binance Smart Chain, these two different ways of doing it are saying I can get this many tokens here, I can get this many tokens here, and go whichever one's going to give you the most tokens. That's what I do. I'm all for using the Safemoon wallet, but it is not easy to use right now. And when it is, I will stick in Safemoon wallet, but it's just not easy to use right now. I have to use Trust Wallet no matter what, so why wouldn't I just finish it over there anyway? It's easier that way. So as soon as they get wired to either buy Smart Chain, which the BSC, that's my second. I would not prefer that as my primary option. I want to just be able to buy Safemoon with Wire. I want to put my credit card into Wire and buy Safemoon. No extra steps. That's all I want. And then I will go in there and use Safemoon wallet for every single transaction for Binance Smart Chain or for Safemoon. So it isn't there, but that's where they're trying to get it to. And if I was a betting person, I would say the best time to do that's probably going to be after version 2 token and after the blockchain, because at that point Safemoon is the token of the blockchain, just like Binance is the token of their blockchain, or Ethereum is the token of their blockchain. That's essentially what we're saying for Safemoon. Or you could buy P Safemoon. Now, again, my critique of what we're seeing here, I know I can buy Ethereum with Safemoon Wallet. I know I can buy P Safemoon with Safemoon Wallet. Where are the directions that show how to do that? It seems like it should be a no-brainer. It's not there. Now let's click on markets just for a second. Some of these exchanges, as indicated by these triangles, do not offer tokenomics. And if you haven't heard of tokenomics, I highly encourage you to watch my previous video on tokenomics, or I think I call it rewards and reflections, distribution, something like that. I put some of the keywords in there because that's important. It's really important. You could potentially, depending on how much Safemoon you own, be earning 70 to 140,000 hours a year, or even more. So tokenomics is important. You really want to check that out. But you can also go to Bitmart and get reflections. Now, some of these, even though they have tokenomics, there is tokenomics in Bitmart, and I had mine in there as well. So once a month, I believe it was the 12th of the month, I would get a lump sum of Safemoon. And it was always lower than what I thought it should be. So I transferred out of Bitmart and put it in Trust Wallet. And sure enough, my tokens increased because it wasn't once a month, it was second by second. You know, every single buy and sell results in an increase in my wallet in a certain number of tokens. And then I've got that number of tokens, so it just keeps compounding over time. So I don't recommend using any of these. Use PancakeSwap or use the Safemoon swap. And if you use TrustWallet or MetaMask, you're going to use PancakeSwap to actually do the swap, potentially. I would just use Safemoon swap, depending on how many tokens you're going to get for it. But some of these are not going to give you the same amount of tokens that you're supposed to. And when you're trying to figure out how many reflections, each one of these exchanges are self-contained to some degree, so they don't all connect together so that it distributes tokenomics across the board evenly. And you can see what the volume is on each of these exchanges to see roughly what it is. And if you use my calculator, it can help you kind of figure out what, based off that volume, what kind of reflections you're going to be looking at. Because right now, unfortunately, the entire ecosystem doesn't work just as one big pool of reflections. That's the ideal. So everybody that buys on Hotbit, everybody that buys on Bitforex, and everybody that buys on Bitmart is treated just like any other holder of Safemoon. They get their percentage based off of the total reflections, not just what off that exchange has. Definitely good to be aware of that. Safemoon education. Now this isn't actually linked to Safemoon, but I'm going to show it to you anyway because there are very involved members of the community that you're going to constantly hear in Discord and you're going to constantly hear at the AMAs that maintain this. And it is a great resource. I'll put the link in the video for this website. It can answer a ton of questions, to include how to buy P-Safemoon or how to buy Safemoon. So it's got a lot of information. It also covers what is a token consolidation versus a reverse split. They've got a ton of information on this particular website. It's well maintained. I really wish that Safemoon would just hire whoever put this together and then, you know, buy this or adopt this and integrate it into the Safemoon website. Because educating the public on how to buy the token or how to, you know, various aspects of cryptos is helpful. It's not one of their core aspects like it was for Saitama on providing education, but they've got a great resource here. They should capitalize on it. This is by far better than almost everything else that's out there. I haven't seen a single token that has anything even like this, or not even close. So a great resource. That's why I'm covering it here. So if you have questions, anything, just come here and take a look at it, because it might help you with some other question that you've got for another crypto. Can't say enough good things about it. Criticisms. So let's talk criticisms for a second. I've already talked about clues. Some people don't like clues inside of their CEO's releases. And then timely responses to FUD. There was an incident a couple weeks ago where an audio recording was released about some of the core members from the team. I think it was the CEO and potentially the CTO was involved, and it was a mess about opening up another token, and they're going to basically blackmail Safemoon CEO to get him out of their contract, and so he can go do his own thing, right? So it was a huge mess, and they were slow to respond, and the community was just rampant with fun because of everything that was going on. So there's timely communication has been an issue with Safemoon since day one. New company. They've only been open for a couple months. The tokens only existed for a couple months. They will get better. But you're gonna, if you buy Safemoon and you track the community, you're gonna run into this a lot. Good to be aware of it because timely communication has not been their strongest attribute. Not even by, it's not even close. Ponzi scheme. When the price shot up for Safemoon, there's a whole bunch of discussion that Safemoon's a Ponzi scheme. And what it came down to is the reflections, which I can't even count how many tokens these days use the reflection approach versus staking. It isn't a Ponzi scheme. It isn't, you know, granted, if you bought in early and you bought a whole bunch of tokens, you're getting more reflections than everybody else. That's how it works. Every single token that uses reflections or rewards or distributions or whatever you want to call them, if you bought in first and your price was really good and you got a whole bunch of tokens, you're going to get more reflections than everybody else. Doesn't that sound like it's supposed to be how it works? That's not a Ponzi scheme. It's just not. And in the case of Safemoon, a lot of their whales, is we like to call them, the people that have a ridiculous amount of tokens into the trillions, a lot of them are selling off. Billions upon billions of tokens every time that they sell. And it drops the price. So expect that. Expect that the price will always fluctuate quite a bit with the whales. If they've got 1 trillion tokens, they're going to move the market, which is one of the reasons why I was so impressed with Saitama yesterday when I did that video, or the one that released this morning. It's not a Ponzi scheme. And if you think intuitively what a Ponzi scheme is, reflections is not a Ponzi scheme. Team growth issues is an issue. And how do I put this? What company do you know of that went from 0 to 2.5 holders in under 3 months? Again, not a lot out there that do that. They're behind the power curve on growth because they grew at a phenomenal rate. And I think that should be intuitive once you put in perspective that this is not a token that's been around for a couple years. And they're based on the roadmap and the things I told you, they've got a lot going on. Now they've got 90-ish employees right now, and they're continuing to grow. They're in 3 locations. You got to cut them a little bit of slack with the size of their team. And they are doing rotations. Sometimes you hire people to do a certain portion, a token, and they're not necessarily the best people for a blockchain or for a hard wallet or for whatever they're doing in the Gambia. Yes, you're going to have some rotations. Plus, a good criticism, I agree, they need somebody that's got some business sense. Just looking at their website. If your business model relies on people buying something, it should be locked on, ready to go. So it's as easy as possible for them to pull the trigger and buy it. The harder it is, the less likely they're going to buy it. So if you've got crypto experience, you're probably going to buy it because you can figure it out. But if you're brand new or you've never done anything with crypto, Safemoon is one of the hardest tokens I've had to buy. It used to be much more challenging when I first got into it, but it's gotten a lot better just because there's more options for buying it. But Bitmart was not an easy process because you had to buy it over here, you had to use MoonPay or Simplex. So it was not an easy process. Plus, it was a lot of fees associated with it. So it wasn't necessarily cost effective. That's it for their website. We've hit everything on their website. We've hit everything from the Safemoon education section. Let's go ahead and take a look at their prices now. All right, so right now we've got the Safemoon's price up from CoinMarketCap. And as you can see, huge increase. And this is right around the time that the Ponzi scheme stuff started talking. So we got up to 406992. I want to say it was actually like 7. So 401 right up here. Can't quite get it to the top. Yeah, so 401. And then it started this really long decrease. If you bought up here, I am sorry. That sucks. And you can see that it went in the matter from April 10th, April 12th, and then we're talking May sometime, if I remember correctly. No, not even that, 19th. Yeah, so the 20th. You know, in not a lot of time, it went quite a bit, significantly higher, right? 12 million, and then I think it was a volume of 137 million. We haven't seen numbers like that in a really long time, as you can tell. But it's had this slow decrease ever since. Part of this is the wallet. Part of this is most of the market looked like this, and then the market started to get a little bit better, and right around here, if I remember correctly, is the wallet release. So again, buy the rumor, sell the news. If you haven't heard that one before, I think I've explained that one before in a previous video. Buy the rumor, sell the news. That's really what happened here. And the wallet didn't launch, so it made sense that it went down so far. Let's take a look at 1 day. I want to show you a whale. So the price is so low right now. This is a whale purchase, essentially, is what this comes down to. Somebody bought a whole bunch of Safemoon right here, and it jumped the price. Or maybe it was a swap and liquefy transit. I mean, there's a couple different things that could cause this. But there's a lot of whale issues. So here's a good whale issue. So somebody sold a whole bunch. And that's what it's going to look like. And you're going to see these in Safemoon because they have whales. But their whale dominance is a lot lower than most tokens that are out there because people have been selling off. So that right now they've got only a handful of people that have 1 trillion tokens. And then most everybody else in the higher categories, because eventually the billions is going to be the whales. Anybody that's got hundreds of billions of tokens will eventually be the whales. So we're going to have this problem for a while. The volume will fix a lot of that, so it's less of an issue, especially if we ever have another instance where it shoots up like it did back in April timeframe. Because you'll have a whole bunch of whales that are selling because they're finally realizing some profits and they're going to get out of it, especially the ones that bought back in April at the high. Once they get above the high and they make some money, they're probably going to get out of it because they're going to expect it to drop back down. But I wanted to explain the whales. You can access the CertTech audit here. The main thing I want to show you on this website is holders. And I don't know what's wrong with CoinMarketCap that they do this. As I said in a previous video, CoinMarketCap is owned by Binance. And right now, Safemoon is on Binance. When Safemoon has their own blockchain and pulls off of Binance, they're going to be direct competition with Binance. Maybe that's why there's so many issues with the data on CoinMarketCap for Safemoon. I don't know. Anybody's got a better theory, let me know. But total addresses is 5,942. Yeah, that's completely wrong. That couldn't be further from the truth. That's a significant margin further from the truth. So we'll take a look at BSC scan. I believe they have the total number of holders on here. So here's the number on BSC scan. 2.6 million addresses. Nowhere near 5,000. Now there's other issues on CoinMarketCap, but that's the most glaringly obvious issue. Because this is straight out of the BSC scan. This is Binance's BSC scan. Now the 5,945, that could be, we'll back up, we'll go back. So we'll click on Etherscan. So remember I was talking about Safemoon. So let's click on Etherscan. And here we'll see, but even then it's 5,978. So it doesn't quite match up, but it's possible that there's roughly 6,000 Safemoon holders out there. And that's for some reason being displayed on Binance's CoinMarketCap versus the BSC scan for a Binance-based coin. Yeah. There's a rumor out there that, like I said, they're intentionally trying to keep Safemoon down. Because if you look at their scores on CoinMarketCap, it's got them ranked at 212. But if we go over to CoinGecko, you can see that they're 110. That's a pretty big difference. So why does CoinMarketCap have them 100 lower? It's a good question. I don't have the answer to it. If you find out, let me know in the comments. So that is the charts. That's the key information I wanted to get to you from the charts. As far as the price and the drops, if you look at the 30 to 90 day, if you look at pretty much any chart, you're going to see it's declining. Now, I don't have a rational explanation for the decrease. They've released their wallet. I suspect it will go up as soon as the Apple Wallet hits the system, as soon as it's approved. And we will probably continue to see the price go up as they start to release some of their product line. So when the podcast I think is interesting. I'm curious to see what it is. I'm not sure that that's going to necessarily shift the price. The blockchain, the exchange, whatever they're doing in the Gambia and this Project Phoenix, those things I think are going to move the price. And if they can increase the burn through some of these other mechanisms, every time somebody uses the Safemoon swap, it burns some tokens. As you burn tokens, the price goes up, especially if you can burn them at a high rate. The price will go up significantly. I don't think it'll be a high rate burn, but I think it'll help, because the lower the supply gets, the higher the price will eventually get as well. All right, so now for our fundamental assessment, we have to take a look at Lunar Crush. Here's Lunar Crush. I've got it up on the screen for y'all. And you can see that the Galaxy score is 71. Now, I've covered this website in a previous video, so feel free to check that out if you've never heard of Lunar Score. And again, I will put the link in the description of this video. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is token consolidation. And I went through that in a previous video. The one that I released yesterday talked a lot about token consolidation. I saw a post that was shared by the CEO of Safemoon that effectively said 1 trillion tokens becomes 1 billion. And I kind of suspected it would be right around 1,000. So I suspect that the token consolidation will be 1,000 token, or 1,000 ratio, 1,000 to 1 essentially. So take a look at your holdings, and that's entirely possible where we're going to end up. And again, watch that video. It doesn't change anything. So what are some reasons why they might want to do a token consolidation? For some reason, investors like higher numbers. And there's a whole bunch of research that shows this. We as regular people like penny stocks. The big investors don't necessarily like penny stocks. So if we can get the price a little bit more realistic and a little bit higher, we might attract some of those bigger investors, which from my perspective means whales. But every time a whale sells, we get more reflections. So I'm not necessarily against it. I just hate to see the price go up and down and up and down. The community is a little finicky with price fluctuations. This is a long-term investment. That's my recommendation, is that you think of this as a long-term investment. Now on the screen, I've had this up there for a while, so you can take a look at this while I've explained consolidation. This is a video I did yesterday covering rewards and consolidations for Saitama, Safemoon, and really any crypto that uses distributions. Now you can see in the consolidation that a 1,000 to 1 ratio, that's what this means right here. All the numbers are the same. So the current value is 1384 before, and this is given 1 trillion tokens. And after, it's still $1,384. Nothing changes. As long as the consolidation is the liquidity pool to burn wallet to every single token has to have the consolidation done to it. And when that happens, you have the exact same amount of money in your wallet at the end of it. Now the total number of tokens decreases, and I explored this in depth in that video, so I highly recommend, if you don't understand consolidations and what this is going to mean, go back to that video. I also explained reward calculations, so if you're new to Safemoon and you're not exactly sure how reward calculations work, or reflections as they like to call them, this is the video you want to go watch. So go take a look at that video. It's in my playlist for Safemoon, and I also put it in Saitama, and I'll put it in other tokens that have the same process. I'll put it in their playlist as well for future reference to make it easy for everybody to find. But that's all I'm going to cover for consolidation. Refer back to that video if you have other questions. One more thing that we're going to take a look at is whales. Now, This is a website that's out there that tracks whale wallets. So if you've got over a certain amount of tokens, it tracks it. So if you've got 10 trillion or 7 trillion or 5 trillion tokens, so you can see we've got quite a few trillion token, and actually somebody just bought a trillion tokens like last week. So we added a whale in the last week. I think it's like $3 million to buy that many tokens. But then you can see we've got quite a few that have hundreds of billions of tokens as well. But these walls are constantly being updated on what their buys and sells are. So you can kind of see we've got a lot of whales that are selling a lot of tokens. That is a lot of tokens, which drives the price lower. Now, again in the video I released yesterday, a lower price means that you're getting more tokens. Because every time you buy tokens, 10% is being applied as a fee, 5% goes back to the holders. 5% of a low dollar purchase is a lot of tokens. So I actually don't mind the low price in the long run, at least not right now. Eventually the price is going to go up. I want to get as many tokens as I can while it's low. All right, so let's review our functional analysis now that we've reviewed all the content that's out there. So is the website visually appealing? And this is subjective, so if you don't agree with the 10, then lower the score. I didn't see any spelling, I didn't see any grammar. Safemoon is notorious for releasing updates, usually some sort of a picture or some sort of a flyer sort material that has a lot of spelling and grammar errors. I didn't see any in the website. I didn't see any website errors on the website. The team is listed, contact method. They do have a contact method. I didn't show it on the review, but there is a contact. They added that after they've created the Safemoon wallet. And there's an email address out there as well. It's inside of the wallet that you can contact customer support for that. They do have a security audit listed. The price is listed, market cap. How to buy, pretty minimal. They have the button there, but I wouldn't say that they've got a really good how to buy. Audit scores in here. Do they have a roadmap? No. And across the board, it's no's. Do they have a white paper? Yes. It's current. Is unique? Yes. Spelling and grammar, no problems there. The development team is known, which is a lot of points. Professional team, yes. Young, but they're professional. When they first launched, that was a straight no. There was a very immature team. They've grown quite a bit over the months. Use case is phenomenal. They have a token. They will have a blockchain. They don't have any NFTs, but they've talked about potentially incorporating NFTs down the road. There's a problem with incorporating it into the wallet because Apple doesn't allow it in their app store. So they're working through some things with that. They have the wallet. It's already been released. They have an exchange plan, but it's not out there yet. They have a swap function. They have a game. No software. They're working with Gambia. And legal tender, not yet. We'll see what happens with the Gambia. Maybe that's going to be something that they're looking at as well. Holder strength is right around 2.6 million. Their Galaxy score 71. Dedicated YouTube channels. There is a lot of people talking about Safemoon. They have a Twitter and they have a Discord. And the Discord's pretty good. If you haven't been in Discord before, go to their website. First, I recommend downloading it. It's easier to use on your computer. But you can do it other ways as well. I prefer installing it. And then go to the website and click the Discord link, and that'll get you through the process of getting into Discord. Their target audience. So 15 points for the target audience. When we think of all the things that they've got going on and the links to renewable energy, other countries, the blockchain. Blockchain means other projects using their blockchain, and just like everybody's using Ethereum for their gas, so everybody's using Safemoon as their gas, whatever that happens to look like. Their target audience is huge, so I'm actually going to increase this to 20. They've got an amazing use case. Their target audience, now granted their use case doesn't necessarily hit everything, it's one of the more robust use cases out there, and I hope you agree with me. What is the use case for Ethereum? What is the use case for Bitcoin or Dogecoin? Now, those are all big projects, but what is their use case? A store of value? Is that all they've got? And then we look at something like Safemoon. You should be excited by this token. It's got a lot going for it. It's unfortunate that the price doesn't reflect all that they have. Now the holders, it does, but the price doesn't. But I think the price will eventually go the other direction. Not financial advice, but I think I made a pretty strong case for what they could be, what they could be accomplishing, what their goals and their objectives are. And I'm excited to see where they go. 375 out of 568, a solid B. From my perspective, it's a project to invest in. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. Now, I will say this. Why would people drop Safemoon, a whale or otherwise? Why would they drop Safemoon? Well, if you look at the market, there are some coins out there that are 10,000% increases. There are some tokens like Saitama where it's a 400% return on my investment. So there's other tokens that are showing those increases right now. And Safemoon's kind of going sideways or even going a little bit lower. It makes sense. I understand why somebody would want to switch into a different project and probably keep an eye on Safemoon waiting for it to increase again. Again, it makes sense. I invested in Safemoon because of the long term. I don't like having to pay 10% fees for buys and sells. So, and it is a challenge to buy. So I'm not going to buy and sell Safemoon. I've got other tokens and coins that work great for that, to see quick return on my investment. And I try to find that needle in the haystack that does the 10,000x. It's like winning the lottery. Maybe you'll find it, maybe you won't. And you got to buy in at just the right time in order to catch it. So, and you saw Dogecoin, if you watched some of my previous videos, it was 0.003 cents in December, and then it was 70 cents. You can't predict that, especially when Dogecoin had been around for years. So those are really, really hard to find. And I suspect that it's market manipulation by people that have a lot of money to make it happen. If you've got a whole bunch of rich people that put a whole bunch of money into a specific coin, space it out, make the market increase gradually at a significant rate. So you get that vertical, almost vertical line going up. It sparks interest in the coin, and then all of us buy as well, pushes the price even higher, and then all those rich people sell. So I suspect that's happening quite a bit, and I'm all for regulation. I am not afraid of regulation. I would encourage the federal government to regulate crypto, because you and I, or people that aren't rich, are the ones that get impacted by those policies. Not the regulation, but by the whales. You're not allowed to do that in the stock market. Now, this isn't the stock market, it's commodities. It's not seen in the same way that stocks are as securities for the most part. But it needs regulation. So don't be scared about regulation. I suspect cryptocurrency is the future. We just got to wrap our hands around what is that future supposed to look like? What do we need to look like? What's in the best interest of the global economy? But that is the outcome of all of this video, is 375 out of 568. And now it's up for you to decide, what is your risk tolerance? When is the right time to buy? Because the price is pretty low. I just can't see it going too much lower. I read a review earlier today that said maybe it'll drop down to the 0.8 level. Right now it's around the 0.13, 0.14, I can't remember, 5 zeros, 0.13. They're saying maybe 6 zeros, 8, or even lower. I can't see that happening unless some whales start selling again. And if it gets down to 6 zeros, 8, I'm going to try to buy some more. Because that's a phenomenal mark off the price. I could probably get around 1 billion tokens for $1,000, $800. I'm not even sure, but that's a pretty good price. I might invest a couple $100 and try to get my holdings up a little higher. Maybe someday I'll be a whale. And that is Safemoon. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. If I do, I'll put it in the comments. But that is the Safemoon token. And hopefully you're as excited as I am about the token. It's got a lot that it's working on. It's got a lot of things in work, a lot of products. It's got a robust timeline of releases. As I was editing this video, I realized I missed one important aspect on the blockchain. So one of the things that we covered in depth in this video was tokenomics. Now, one of the things that they're trying to do with the blockchain is cryptonomics. So they've already got bridges to other exchanges. One of them, for example, Safemoon, as I mentioned, with Ethereum network. The idea is that their blockchain and anything that uses their exchange will be able to generate tokenomics also. So every single crypto that you store inside your wallet linked to their exchange will potentially earn you more of that crypto. That's phenomenal. Imagine having Bitcoin or Ethereum, and I don't know what the rewards will be under the cryptonomics that they're trying to build, but it's going to be based off the volume on their exchange. So imagine Bitmart or one of the other exchanges out there and the volume of all of the different tokens that are supported by that exchange. It's a phenomenal idea, and it's unlike anything else that's out there. And I think there's some people that are trying to copy it and do that now that they've been talking about it for months. So this isn't a secret that other exchanges and other developers are ignoring. It's a great idea. Now we have to wait and see if they can actually pull it off. But for your consideration, that would be an amazing opportunity for everybody. I've got numerous cryptos. I would love to make reflections on all of them, to include Binance and Ethereum and Bitcoin. Who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't want to passively earn reflections on every single crypto they own? So I figured that was a pretty significant oversight on my part, and I wanted to make sure I clarified and add that in there. Hopefully you found this video helpful. I do review the comments, so make sure you leave any suggestions, requests, or questions you might have in those. If there are any topics you want me to dive deeper into, definitely let me know. I'll put all the links that I referenced in this video in the description. I do get a small commission off the affiliate links that I've got in there. If you want to support the channel, please click those links, take a look at them. I did a video on all of them as well. 2 different videos between the trading view and then the tracking software that's out there for income purposes for your taxes. But definitely click those links, check them out. They have free options. Click those, sign up, check them out, and explore them. If you like it, then and you've got enough transactions to justify upgrading, then upgrade. Just a reminder, if you found my content helpful, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and it might help you catch my content if you turn on notifications so you get notified when I post new material. Until next time, stay strong with those diamond hands.